Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with Lifter Unit Sarah and Ando, who is you guys have met him before. That you can find all of their information in the video description. Go check them out, give them likes and subscribes, and all of the cool stuff. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Um, I'm good. I'm glad I got to see Little Man again. It's been a little bit of time before since I got to see him, actually.
Yeah, he's awake.
Yeah, my true co-host. Ando, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for, yeah. You were gonna record with us on Tuesday,
hmm
and then our schedules had to shift a little bit, and I appreciate you being flexible. And we're doing
Absolutely.
this,
Yeah.
recording it. Well, I guess we're doing it on Thursday. Everyone's gonna get it on Friday, so
Yeah.
you know. Okay, so there hasn't been much going on in the game, so really, like, we could just talk about whatever if you guys want.
There's no news.
Nope, not much. I mean, so much. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Like, I got first off, what do you guys' thoughts are on Cal? What is he good? Is he like underwhelming? What do you guys thought? Like, does he meet what your expectations were?
Uh
Ooh.
for me, yeah. Yeah, he definitely he meets it in like I guess the way that I wanted it to be, and it's good to see that that's the way it is. But like I didn't think it would be Cal that would like lift JML, I guess.
hmm
But yeah, he's it's nice to see JML kind of come back into the discussion of like, hey, pretty good again. And he's probably more
Yeah,
than that right now too, by the way.
you think he's more than pretty good?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, from what I've just seen, like the little bit that I've seen,
hmm
he seems like he's more than just a little bit good. I
Well,
was telling you
it's
guys, I'm not a guy that at least in the last year or year and a half, I haven't really spent much, and I'm contemplating I'm contemplating it.
Yeah, they can.
that's cool.
Ah.
Yeah.
I hope you
Ah.
do. I hope you just fork over some money.
Yeah. I'll just you know what, yeah, I'll just do the gamble packs. They're probably the worst value, so let's just go
Oh,
all in.
Right.
there,
Hashtag fund CG.
Yeah.
Yep.
there,
Why
there
not?
is there is a gamble pack that is actually worse value
Oh
than
yeah. No, I saw it.
you saw
Like
it,
I said,
right?
I've been
Oh,
contemplating. I mean, I'm not
oh.
gonna do that one, to be clear. But yeah, I mean, I was like looking at all of them. I was like, okay, like so if I were to do this, let me see what we've got available, and then it's like, oh man, this one's awful. And I was like, oh,
So
this
bad.
one's slightly better, but still pretty awful.
How far do you have to go?
Um, my furthest one is definitely it's pretty close to 185 shards. So
hmm
5 stars ish.
yeah, it's I think I'm like 6 shards over it. I was doing the math and it's gonna be quite a bit. I mean, it would be a lot. Like I said, definitely way more than I've purchased in forever. Um, I think it was like a total. I was closing in on 400 shards needed for the total like amount. So it would be, I think each shard is like 80 crystals or something like that. So it would be a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, I will say this, and this is really like you should spend your money how you want. I will say, in favor of doing the panic farm. The one nice thing about it is that you don't have to get them all up to like relic 5 afterward.
Yeah,
Like
that
Right.
and the event is also I've done the event. I did it already. I already unlocked him. He's relic 8 for me. But the event, I'm pretty sure I could have done it with way lower gear. Actually,
yeah,
like I'm pretty sure you could just do it at gear 12.
I
yeah,
saw there's someone in our guild actually that posted after you and I were talking earlier, Zara, and he did it with Gear 12, just swapped some of his better mods on and had no issues.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
he was
big.
struggling a little. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
no,
the big
he
thing.
wasn't. He just did it. I don't know if he struggled beforehand. He didn't say. He just said he swapped them right away.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, honestly, I don't know if you guys have seen the event, and I don't want to give a ton of spoilers.
Mhm.
Like the only one that I would even consider remodding is Cal, like Junior Cal, because the rest of them have like a scene with him, and
Right.
otherwise he just like, yeah, he just does his own thing,
Hmm.
which I mean kind of mirrors the game, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. The Gear 12 thing is definitely like what's probably so enticing about it. And I was saying this to Sarah before. It's like I think there's two factors that I think why I'm actually kind of considering it. One, because unlocking him is sort of like almost unlocking a new GL,
Hmm.
which is pretty good, obviously, for you in PvP and PvE and all the other good stuff. The other reason though, like, and part of it, like, and I hate this aspect of it, and it is a little bit of like almost that like fear mongering kind of
Hmm.
thing, because our last really kind of event was Grand Inquisitor, and like for I guess a non-GL event was kind
Hmm.
of Grand Inquisitor. And my fear is like if I knew that Cal was coming back in 3 months, I would be like, okay, I can wait that long. Like that's not a problem. I don't really want to test it and be like, well, maybe we're on the Grand Inquisitor timeline and it's 6 months. Because if that's the case, then I'm just like, now I'm like, okay, like, yeah, it's probably worth it. We got to do it. Got to pull the
I,
trigger.
I feel like you're gonna talk me into doing it.
I know, isn't it horrible? Like it's so bad. Like
I I hadn't even considered that as an aspect. I was just like, yeah, whatever, he'll be back in 3 months. And now I'm like, oh, what if he's not?
yeah,
I've been kind of counting on it being 6 months. I'm like, I don't want to like increase my farming rate on
yeah,
any of my other accounts. Like, I'm just gonna plod along and not do extra refreshes and hope the first time. I'm not really hope, but I mean, honestly, like CG has really just botched the whole Grand Inquisitor everything. Like everything about it, I'm like that they didn't tell us that he wouldn't be re-released in 3 months,
right.
which like completely ignores the last cadence of every single other like that level character release. You know, like it's like okay, it's not going directly to the journey guide. I guess that's fine, but like when they do that, when they have done that in the past, it's always been 3 months cadence, and they didn't do it this time. It was 6 months without any warning. Not to mention, they like made. I spent all this money on like Inquisitors that I could have just farmed it
Yeah.
through the nodes because they took so long to release Grand Inquisitor. And now they've gone all the way to the end of like, well, why couldn't they've released the Grand Inquisitor stuff during all the title update? It just seems like I
Yeah.
don't know from the outside, and I'm sure it's more complicated than this, but it kind of looks like they could just like flip a switch and just be like, "Hey, it's in the journey guide,"
Yeah. Yeah.
you
And
know?
that kind of like uncertainty is it. Yeah. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just have had Grand Inquisitor come back every 3 months, like everything else, and then I'd be like, I could go and be like, yeah, that's all that's gonna happen. But that one event and that one cadence now is like having me like a little bit on edge. I'm like, oh crap, can I
Do you
really wait that
think
long?
do you think Grand Inquisitor was so delayed because they were trying to tie his second event to the territory battle releasing?
I
Because
don't
I'm
know,
wondering if that was
honestly.
a one-off.
I would mean, but if that was, then I feel like they could have done a 9 month release, like or like month nine, I should say. Like
Hmm.
if they're like, hey, like yeah, we delayed it the first time, but now we're going back to our 3 month cadence, and then he'd be in the journey guide by now, kind of thing.
Right.
They feel like they're like, yeah, it just feels like they are kind of like the decider now. They're like holding things back or like letting things go through, and it just feels weird. I don't like it.
Oh.
And all of that just generates them money
Oh,
because
it does.
Yeah.
you guys are thinking of instead of like, hey, let's not spend money because these guys are like bad at communicating things, or they're, or even worse, they're specifically like they're trying to not be good at it, you know, like they're intentionally bad at it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you could call it bad, but like they're intentionally misleading us. And it's like, hey, like let's not reward them, let's not give them money. Instead it's like, no man, everyone else is gonna have, that I'm playing against, is gonna have Cal. Like I want Cal too, damn it.
Right.
So you know, it's like, and if I can't have him in 6 months, then why should I have to wait 6 months? I'm gonna like, I'm not telling you guys you shouldn't spend money. Like I tend to think I'm glad when I hear people are spending sometimes, not like ruinously, but I mean you want the lights to stay on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so when people casually spend, I'm like, hey, that, I mean, that can be a healthy good thing in the right circumstance. But in this case, I'm very torn. I'm like, should we be rewarding this behavior? I'm not sure, but at the same time, it's not really rewarding your behavior. It's also a character that you guys really want, and he's a really cool character. I don't want you to be without him either.
Yeah. And, and I actually said this too when the Grand Inquisitor event came out, and like it came back at 6 months, and they they know what they're doing. Like they run
Oh yeah.
EV models all the time, like estimated value models all the time. The thing is that like if you're gonna get Grand Inquisitor at 3 months, then you're gonna get him at 6 months, and those people aren't going to spend anymore. Like that population is going to spend very little because they're doing it all free to play. The guys that can get it in 3 months are the same people that can get it in 6 months, and vice versa, because again, they're doing it free to play. And the people that you need to be encouraging, or like in CG's mind, the people that you need to be encouraging are the people that are like edge cases like myself, right? Where I'm like, oh man, like I could get him, but you know, maybe I don't get him, you know, or whatever, right? Like that's where they want that. Those people are who they care about. So when they make these things that like people are like, well, Grand Inquisitor was super free to play because he went 6 months later. He was going to be free to play for those people at 3 months too. They just had to wait a little bit longer. What they're trying to do is be like, there's a population of people out there. There's your guys that are going to be Krakens and whales or whatever you want to call them, that are going to get them day one, and they're going to have them. And that population, they know they're going to get them from. What they're trying to do is increase their pool of, hey, like we have like, you know, an X amount of number of people out there that are would be interested in it, at least, or at least, you know, hypothetically they're interested in this. We just have to incentivize them enough to do this. And that's the
Right.
part like that they need to, that like they're trying, like I'm not saying that that's going to happen this time again, but that's what they're trying to do. They're always trying to do that because that's the guy. It's sort of like politics, right? Like you always have, you know, one side and versus the other. The people that you're trying to sway is the people in the middle. Like that's the, you know, the swing vote or whatever you want to call it. Like you're trying to get as
Yeah.
many people back over onto the people that spend versus not spend, because it makes more money for them, and that's the goal of a business.
That's a good point.
I mean, it does make sense. I think, yeah, like trying to see, like, all right, who can we make? Which free to play players can we actually make into minor spenders? You know, like
Yeah.
how can we get people, you know, like hooked just a little bit in? And I would hate. It's a little bit frustrating to think though that they would be so miscommunicative about, like, bad about talking about Grand Inquisitor specifically to drive Cal sales. It almost seems like we're giving them too much credit on that point. But I do think that a lack of certainty is probably like it all feeds into the same thing. Like they don't want us to know exactly what to think. That's why I've said forever. Like when we're talking to Solo about things, it's you know, on Gambit, it's like, well, we as a community have done a horrible job at predicting what CG is gonna do next. Like, and why? We're always like, man, why would they do this? It makes no sense. They wouldn't make money from this, and clearly they are making a
Yeah.
ton of money. But like the community can't predict worth a damn because they're playing to a tune, it's like totally different tune than we're listening to. Like we just don't know because we're thinking in terms of people who are I don't know, who are like we're thinking like players, like consumers, not like the people who are trying to, you know, make a ton of money off of this.
Right. Yeah. They, like I said, they have EV models of like, they know when they put a certain pack out, the expected value that they're supposed to see back on it. And they know that they even know that like if they put this out on a Thursday night, it's
Mm-hmm.
better than if they put it out on a Monday morning kind of thing, or like a Monday night or whatever, like because more people are going to log in or whatever, like the population, like they know all these things, like they have all these models that kind of tell them historically what is going to be popular at what time, right? And there's a reason why the data disk or the data cache packs go live when they go live. There's a reason why, like all of it is been thought out from them. Like they definitely have a good pulse on that, for sure.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting. It's I'm always like, how much do they really know about this game? Because like if you actually get a developer to sit down and answer those FAQs that they've been doing lately, like some of them, it's like, okay, like this guy actually like he knows the game well enough to like you can have a conversation about it. Like if you sit down with like Meatface. Some of the comments he's made about the game, I'm like, you don't play this game that much. Like he doesn't have to. I mean, I feel like he should, but whatever. I just sometimes they're like their customer facing side. Like I'm like, I wish there was evidence of more knowledge here. Like because I want them to know like what the player experience is like. But I think at the end of the day, they don't care what our experience is like. As long as we don't just quit. In fact, they just kind of want us to make, that they're fine with us being a little agitated, frankly.
I remember when this was way back when Carrie was still there, and she said she did an interview, and she said that there's this fine line that they have to walk as developers in how much can you frustrate a player before they're like too far frustrated and then they quit. And they're like, you have to walk that line because you want them to be frustrated enough to enjoy the challenge and but not frustrated enough to quit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You want to be just there that maybe you spend $20
Right.
or $40 or however much.
Yeah.
Man,
I do that.
I
Yeah.
fully was like, I saw the update and I'm like, okay, like this, like the update put the nail in the coffin for me. That I was like, I'm not gonna wail for Cal. Like, that's not needed. And Ando comes here
And
with
I
this
come in
little
and I
like,
pry it. I
yeah,
pry the
hammer
nail
trying
out.
to pry it open. Like, but what about if it's 6 months, Sarah?
I don't mean to, but that's just what I've been thinking. Because, like I said, I've done all the math, and I'm like, I would absolutely not like to spend that amount of money. But at the same time, I would also not like to not, or I would hate it if I didn't have Cal for that long.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like maybe it comes back in 3 months, like, and I'll just then be like, crap.
Yeah.
Or maybe it comes back in 6, and then I'll be like, okay, I guess I made
Man.
the right choice here.
Crisis
I
averted.
I absolutely love Cal's kit. By the way, I just have to
Yeah.
say, like, I haven't played with him yet. I haven't even done one battle yet. He's Relic 8, and he's modded in a way that I am uncertain about. But I'm excited. Like his kit is so, I don't know. There's so many different angles that you can play, and once you really start understanding what he does, like I don't even know. Like I know all the forms. It's like, okay, well, this form he hits harder. This form he's going to be more defensive, and I don't even know which one is which right now. But once we learn that, there's such a high degree of skill being able to, figure out exactly what you want to do with him. I am very excited about him. And I think one thing, I don't know, they just keep making fun kits. I'm always marveling at this. Like I've said the same thing since B1 came out, like years and years ago. I like they just make fun kits, and I kind of dislike all the drama that's surrounding it. Like, am I getting whale on it? Am I not? Like, I don't love that conversation. Even though as a content creator, that's actually like that's something people tune in for, that kind of discussion. And hey, look at that, we're making content about it right now. But but at the same time, I kind of wish it was like like a simple path for players. I mean, CG doesn't benefit from that, so it's never going to be that simple. But unless you're totally free to play, then it's like, well, some decisions are made for you. Um, but yeah, I guess I just I am excited for this kit though. Right, like yeah. Well, and you've seen more footage than me. It sounds like. What is he doing? What kind of things can Cal do?
He's yeah, I mean he's kind of doing what we I mean I know we briefly talked in Gambit chat but like with all the creators about it, but like yeah, he's doing pretty much what we said he was going to do. Like he seems like he's dunking on Jabba.
Nice.
Lord Vader I guess was pretty clean as well from my
Oh,
understanding.
really?
JMK. JMK was always been like we've always been able to kind of do it. Crons I think have sort of like defended it a little bit. Like if you have a ton of health, right? Like it could get and you've got like a fat cat kind of thing. It can get a little bit difficult, but I've heard that that's a lot cleaner. I've heard just like I know some of it was from the Arnold testing as well. So it was like I think he was trying some impractical stuff where it's like just like JKR, JKL, and Cal were three manning like SLKR. Not that that is like I said, not that it's applicable, but just kind of showing, casing like how powerful he truly is to that team. So it's just even stuff outside of JML, but yeah, the riposte and the kill, the insta kill kind of thing, from what I've heard is definitely leading into a new era where JML can go before like he just could not do before, so that's just kind of what I've heard. And like yeah, I've seen like a few things but not too much. And all this stuff too is without Omicrons. I think also too there was a Jedi Knight with Cal and they killed Malgus, which I think a lot of people kind of anticipated that like it sounded sort of like an anti-Malgus kit in there. So yeah, you don't have to use him with JML, but it just sounds like he breathes a new life into JML for sure. So and again, that was without an Omicron Malgus, so maybe the Omicrons changed something, but
Malgus didn't have an Omicron.
yeah, because it's like squad arena testing,
Right,
so it
right.
just doesn't. But
Right.
yeah,
Well,
like it sounds super interesting. Yeah.
no, well, and you're right. Like arena testing is so sketch anyway. So
Yeah.
you have what people need to realize too is yeah, and like first off, if you're testing an arena, there's always like this question of like, okay, like this person who's testing it is probably going to be on the top-ish end, like one of the top shelf players, and how many other top shelf players are going to be in their arena who actually
Yeah.
know how to mod and
Right.
stuff, and then like the Cal team doesn't have any Omicrons that matter in GAC or Territory Wars,
Yeah.
but like Jabba, you say it dunks on Jabba, and I believe you. But my immediate thought is like, okay, well, how does he do against Jabba with an Embocron or
That's for sure the
with
question.
Chrysanthemum?
Yeah, that's for sure the question. Because right now, even in GAC, and I was talking to people about this in my server, he's still obviously very good, but his stats have actually gone up quite a bit from last season or last 3v3 season. Last 3v3 season, he was hovering with like the Lord Vaders and the Rays at like the 60% first time attacks. He's now bumped up to like 80%. And so that's between the seasons, right? And like it's not comparing him to Lord Vader or Rey, it's just comparing him to himself and what set 7 did for him versus what set 9's doing for him. It seems like there's about a 20% ish, 15 maybe percent ish change in success rate. So even he's starting to feel a little bit like, okay, like yeah, like maybe he's not the thing that I need to worry about. But the problem is like I have faced TW and still with that Embocron, he is a nightmare. Like there's counters that you run for non-Embocron Jabbas, and then those counters get completely shut down whenever you put the Omicron. Sorry, I don't know if I was saying Datacron, but yeah, as soon as that Embo Omicron is thrown on, it's like, okay, like sucks to be us.
Right. Well, yeah, like you think something's gonna work, and you're like, oh, I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess this is going to be a hard zone.
Yeah.
Sarah, how close are
Hmm.
you to getting Cal? Because you're working on Leviathan, and you're going to be ready for that too, presuming
Yeah.
it's soon, right?
Yeah. Leviathan, I'm only short like 50 signal data or something like that.
Oh, just little
Um,
signal data. Awesome.
yeah. The new gate.
Yeah.
Um,
The biggest gate? Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
But Cal, so Seer and Cal are done. They're 7-star. And then the other three, I need anywhere between 120 to 140 shards each. Tarful's the furthest away, and he needs like 140 something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And I think the thing that sucks about it too is
Excuse
you
me.
don't my guess is that if you did like panic farm Tarful,
Yeah.
for instance, like you wouldn't have a use for him. Like I
No.
actually can't think of a modern character release that is more worthless than Tarful. Because he
No.
doesn't actually give anything to like he helps Wookiees
Mhm.
beat one mission in like tier 3 or phase 3 of
Right.
territory battles, and it's just a combat mission that's mostly like, yeah, it's fine if you just skip it, whatever. Like, yeah, and if you have to have a bunch of other Wookiees to that level, like you can just miss that one. You're not even missing out on. It's nothing. It's nothing. Oh, little man,
He's getting fussy, sorry.
we will miss you.
Um yeah, it's the crazy thing to me, I thought Saw, for whatever reason, I had it in my head that Saw would be the farthest away from me, and he's not. He's the closest. I need the fewest shards of him.
Huh. Well, we all got that pack. Well, maybe not all of us, but like I know that I got the web can, what's it called? The
The
web
web
No
store.
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 Yep.
Like
Yep.
at the web store, they had like a one-time thing where you just get like 25 shards of someone.
Yeah.
And I think I got that on at least one of my accounts too. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. I don't farm any of these guys, but
Yeah, I got that, and I was really excited at first because some people thought it was going to be like every day for 2
Yeah.
weeks,
That
and I
was
was like,
me.
sweet, right? And then I was like, it's definitely not, and I got 5 Marin shards, so thanks.
Yeah. I think I got like 15 seer shards, and I was like, oh, well, that's my closest one, anyways. But I didn't think that I really, up until today, until what I heard he was doing, I really was resigned with the fact that, like, yeah, I was like, I'll just have to get him the second time around. But um,
uh,
I know.
see, so I was fully like, it kind of like sealed a nail in the coffin when we saw like the Zepho info, and then I was like, we're not gonna get 30 in our guild, so we're not gonna get to Zepho anyway. Like, I'm not gonna be the one that tips us over into that. I'm like, but if he's doing so much good stuff with JML, I don't know. I don't know.
or
Yeah.
Jedi Revan. I'm
Yeah.
honestly,
Or
I'm
yeah,
I'm a little bit like I don't want to use him with Jedi Revan. Sorry, with Jedi Master Luke. Like I kind of want Jedi Master Luke to keep kicking around like he's like barely a galactic legend, and have Jedi Revan just destroying people. Like because I already get enough use out of Jedi Master Luke, like that. I mean, I'm a little disgruntled by it, but I'm like, all right, that's fine. But Jedi Revan, yeah, I mean, Jedi Revan's always like on the edge of being able to take someone out. He's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I think he must be my favorite legendary level character.
hmm
I think he's like the best, actually. I think like still like his kit is so relevant and wonderful. It's really fun. All right, we're actually out of time on this side, so we're
Oh
going
man.
to go talk about more of this stuff about the user interface updates, about Zepho, about what other lifter units there may be in this group. No. And we'll be over on Sarah's channel. So guys, in the video description, go check out Ando. He's on Twitch. He has YouTube that he's started to post more and more videos on, which is awesome. Super excited about that. And then the next part is going to be on Sarah's though. So like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Just keep doing it, guys. As many clicks as you can. All right. We'll see you in over on Sarah's side.